Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from anthonymorganti.com, and this is episode 35 of Photo Critiques. And in Photo Critiques, people send me in some of their best images, and I critique each shot with suggestions on how they can improve it. And today, I'm pleased to critique the work of Scott Rushlow, or Rushlow, one or the other. Sorry, Scott. Anyway, Scott sent me in 11 images, and there are some pretty cool ones. We'll check them out. This one here is really interesting. I think he was telling me this was like something from the Richmond Braves, and someone put it on top of the building here, and it's a pretty cool shot. The exposure's really nice, the colors are nice, the sky is perfect. The only thing I could suggest is if Scott would back up just a little bit. Part of the elbow of the Brave is cut off over here. The chimney is cut off at the top. If you could have backed up a little bit and maybe got the entire chimney in, or got maybe more, so at least some of the words were being shown, because I don't know how high that chimney goes up, and got the entire Indian so it wasn't cut off. One thing I should add too, Scott told me that he's using a point and shoot camera, so you'll see his photography is very impressive for using a point and shoot camera. The next shot is this one here is a really interesting composition. Obviously we're at a cemetery, and what you don't see right away, this is what I talk about, use leading lines, even kind of vague leading lines. You'll eventually see something very interesting as your eye goes through this kind of diagonal line. You'll see people kissing over here. So it's kind of an interesting shot. The only thing I could suggest is if he backed up again, just like the other one, just a little, he would have got more of this building, perhaps all of this in. This would have been, the stairs wouldn't have been as cut off. They would have been, if he backed up a little more into the picture just a little bit. And you don't want, like a subject, even a minor or a secondary subject, you don't want it too close to the edge, especially if you're going to print the image, because your crop, when you crop to print, you could be cutting things off you don't want to cut off. So just back up a little bit, maybe get a little lower, move to the right a little bit. It will help exaggerate this kind of diagonal line a little bit, and it would have might have enhanced the photo a little bit. That's all. This shot's pretty cool. Just got this crazy guy out here on the wood, the driftwood. Hopefully he doesn't get swept down the river. But it's a perfect exposure, very nicely done. The light is nice, very well done. This shot I like a lot, and why I like it is he didn't bullseye the kids. They're not right in the middle. They're off to the right. We have this kind of leading line of this path going up the hill, and then you kind of notice the children. I love the expression, especially on the little girl, kind of looking past the camera, and the young man's looking off to this side. So it's just a great shot. I also like there looks like he has a light vignette on it, which helps draw your interest more towards the brighter part of the picture, which is in the middle. So it's very well done. Whenever you shoot wading birds, you tend to want a little more water in front of the birds. So in this shot, I would have poked the camera down a little more and shot a little lower, just a little. And what Scott did excellent job of is he has the bigger part of the empty part of the frame in the direction the bird is headed. And that's what you want. So the bird's to the left, he's looking to the right, and the empty part of the frame's to the right where it's headed. You don't want the frame to end right in front of his beak. I mentioned that in previous critiques too. So in this shot, that's excellent. I would just with a point and shoot camera even, I would have just got more of the water in front, so the bird would be a little higher up in the frame. If you have a DSLR, you might want to consider using a widest aperture you can and focus on the bird, and you would have blurred the background enough where it would have looked like the bird was standing out more, not so much into the background. It would have just stuck out a little more. This is the problem we have with any camera, point and shoot or DSLR. There's not a big range of light that it could record at one time. So we have these dark trees, dark water, very bright sky. He's being hampered a bit too because he's using a point and shoot that doesn't have raw capabilities. So I encourage everyone that has DSLRs or any type of camera that has raw capability, shoot raw, because you would have got a wider gamut of shades, you know, brights and darks in this shot to record it into the raw file. Even though this is a JPEG, and even though I copied the JPEG he sent me because it was too small to display, so I enlarged it. Even though all of that, I could still take the shadows slider in Lightroom and bring it to the right, and you could see it brought out a lot of detail in the dark parts of the image and kind of enhanced the mirror effect of the trees on the water. Unfortunately, the highlights just don't look as good when I bring those down. We still have this kind of large part. Let me put the highlights back where they were. If I hover over this triangle, you see that red area there? That's blown out. There's absolutely no detail in the image in that red part. Just, you know, whitest white can be. So when I bring the highlights down, it still just kind of looks like a you know, a dirty gray. There's an article I have on my website that I wrote where it helps you expose an image like this, where you have a very bright part of the image and a very dark part of the image. It's called Exposing for the Highlights, and I'll link to it in the description below this video. So you could go to that article and it'll give you some tips on how to expose this scene. It's called Exposing for the Highlights, so check that out. This shot I like a lot, and why I like it, we have these receding leading lines. We have people, so our eyes, as we're looking through it, resolve on these people walking over the footbridge. And I also like, I don't know if he did this in Lightroom or if it was just natural, but I tend to think he did it. There's just a subtle brightness to the wood right down the middle, which helps lead your eyes also through the middle of the frame. So very well done. You might want to, some people, a lot of photographers, I know I do, it's not, you know, mandatory or anything like that. We like to make this shot symmetrical, so you would move to the right a little bit and you would have this handrail and this handrail equidistant from the sides, so it was like more symmetrical looking. That's something you want to try, you know, see if you like it. You might, you know, could have got a shot like that here, but this shot is excellent, very nice. This shot is nice. It's, you know, I don't know if he's the conductor, but he's on the back of the train. He's got a great smile. He's, you know, a lot of character, showing a lot of character. The colors are very nice, and Scott didn't bullseye him. He's off to the side. I mean, you can't take a better shot with the DSLR, so it's very nice, very nicely done. This shot here is one where I talk about working the scene. I like the idea of what he's doing here, and I mentioned before, for some reason graffiti sells. If you want to sell prints, pictures of graffiti seem to sell. So you got this tagged wall back here, very colorful, but the trouble is all this, the weeds and the shrubs and stuff, it's just too busy. It's just, you know, getting in the way of us looking at this. And the bike here, I like the idea. I probably would have took a shot like this if I was here. But then I think what I would have done is I would have taken the bicycle and brought it up here, maybe leaned it up against the wall and took a closer shot of the graffiti with the bike, and maybe laid the bike down like this but in front of the wall. Cut out all this busy you know, weeds and bushes and stuff like that. So work the scene. Looks like we might have a leading line over here, so maybe we could have exploited that somehow. Took a shot, hid the bike over here so our eyes would resolve on the bike, and maybe got a shot that way with the graffiti. It's hard to say, I wasn't there, but you know, work the scene. You know, take 100 shots if you have to, and hopefully you got one that's really cool. This shot, you know, it's kind of cool. I don't know if these are snakes right here or what they are. They could be some type of lizard, I guess. They're, you know, it's pretty cool. We got, you know, this, you know, the plants and the water. You know, I don't know. It's hard to get a shot like this because we have this plant in the way of this guy's head and this one in the way of his head, and you know, did the best you could. This is one of the ones where you just do the best you could with the equipment you had and the scene that you were presented. This is the best shot. I love this shot. We got a nice study here of diagonal intersecting lines. with the clock tower, the beautiful, excellent sky. It's very, very well done from the composition to the processing. This is just an excellent shot. There's nothing I could suggest that would improve this shot. So very well done, Scott, and I wish I took this shot. So I'd like to thank Scott for sending me in some of his images. I really enjoyed critiquing them. And you guys have point and shoots. Don't be dissuaded. Go out and take some pictures. You could take some really nice shots. Scott proved it. So I'd also like to thank everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel and everyone who has visited my website. Really appreciate it. I'm getting a lot of visitors every day at the website, so check it out if you haven't already, anthonymorganti.com, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I really would appreciate that. So until next time, everyone, take care.